a lot of good games from him this season, and in my opinion, I think he's one of the most exciting and underrated players in this league.
Yeah, Hack played great yesterday, very narrowly losing to Jadong. Took him all the way to Game 5, and oh man, at times I thought he was going to pull it off, but the Dong was too strong, and still lives in WCS America. Hack's now going to be going up against Macsed on Belshir Vestige. As you said, Macsed, a very aggressive, sometimes unorthodox Protoss player. I can't wait to see what happens. Let's go ahead and hop in to our first game. Okay, Mike, here we go. Spawning down in the bottom right-hand corner of Belshir Vestige. The blue Terran player, it is Startail Hack. And Hack's opponent up in the top left, the red Protoss player representing Invictus Gaming all the way from China. It is Macsed.
And this is a good map for the Protoss end of this. Macsed should have a lot of aggressive options in the early game. A lot of cheeses, such as the Blink Stalker all-in, are pretty good on this map. Gateway all-ins are also pretty viable, and you can also do a build like Oracles, and that works out pretty well on most maps, but it's also good on this map. And even in the mid-game, I feel like most Protosses are comfortable on Belshir Vestige.
Yeah, it's a map that's given us a lot of pretty close, even games. But impossible to say which way this one's going to go here. Startail Hack goes ahead and drops that barracks, setting up for what will almost undoubtedly be a one-racks fast expand. Macsed also with his gateway down, so nothing too crazy here in the early game. Belshir, a two-player map, so you can sometimes see proxy cheeses and things like that, but not in the cards for us here in game number 1.
Fast scout for Macsed, and I feel like this indicates that he wants to go for one build or another, because you don't actually need this fast scout in PvT if you're just planning in the expansion play. You can just throw it on a gateway, get that core after, make a mothership core and expand. So I think this scout kind of indicates that Macsed, he wants to go for a more aggressive build.
Well, this probe is going to get to the main base. It's going to see no gas, and that's going to probably confirm what Macsed would like to have seen there if he is thinking aggression. He says, okay, well, you're going to expand, you're going to play macro. That bodes well for whatever it is that I may or may not be planning. Where are you going, probe?
It'll also make it harder for Hack to scout if Macsed decides to go for an aggressive build. Because there's no quick Reapers, it's pretty easy to deny the SCV scout from getting into the main base and seeing whatever tech route he decides to go for.
Yep, we are seeing a Zealot in production for Macsed. He'll no doubt follow that with a Stalker or a Sentry, and that will mean the end of days for this SCV scout, which has seen no Nexus, but other than that, nothing noteworthy really exists for him to scout. Still going to make his way through the main base, where, as we pointed out already, Mike, Macsed has not made a commitment yet. Macsed's probe is still out on the map, just kind of hanging out on this Zelnaga tower. We will have to wait and see. Oh, look, he's going to start moving right now. On demand. If he's going to place a pylon or just go in for a second scout.
And it is kind of actually looking like a macro build. He's still on one gas, he's starting the mothership core now. I don't think he has the gas he'll need to afford any kind of proxy or tech route.
Yeah. Command center finishing up in the natural for Hack. He's probably going to want to start a bunker pretty soon. Yep, it's going to be queued up right now. There are plenty of builds where Protoss makes a Zealot, a Stalker, a mothership core, and walks across the map. And that can be very annoying if Terran doesn't have that bunker, if they're not prepared for it in some capacity. But Macsed not doing that either. He's just dropping his own Nexus and sitting back and really taking his time. This doesn't mean he can't get aggressive. So, ooh, nope, there it is. Stargate's going to go down for Macsed. What's he going to do with this, Mike?
Well, I think he's going to make one Oracle, and then it'll be interesting to see if he wants to go into the same style that his Chinese compatriot Jim always likes to go for. This is how Jim opens pretty much every single PvT.
Jim is famous for going Colossus Phoenix, which is a unique unit composition, to say the least, one that maybe hasn't caught on and become widely popular throughout the metagame, but Jim's had a lot of success with it. We'll see if Macsed goes for something like that here or not. Mike, what is a Protoss player's reasoning for considering something like Colossus Phoenix?
Well, the Phoenixes can take out the Vikings pretty quickly, and they tank for the Colossi against those Vikings. And if there's no Vikings, the Colossi can kind of just wreck everything on the ground. Also, the Phoenixes make it a bit easier to defend against medevac drops. If you're in position and you spot the drop, the Terran can't actually go for that kind of a play.
We've got a 3 racks follow-up here from Hack. He's got 1 rack's fast expand, 3 barracks behind it, or 2 more barracks, I should say. Factory's also going down. He's going to have a lot of unit production with this. He could probably get aggressive pretty soon here if he wants to. And with Stargate Tech out on the map, I think some Marine aggression might be an okay idea.
Yeah, definitely. It's always a pretty good idea after you've defended against whatever Protoss throws at you, just to at least force out that photon overcharge from the Protoss.
There's that starport going down, and if Hack wants to get aggressive, he's probably going to wait for a couple of medevacs. First Oracle is out on the map. I don't know that Hack knows this is coming, but man, he sure seems prepared for it. Marines in position. Oracle's going to fly into the main base and see what's up. We'll activate the laser beams there and kill a single Marine before getting chased away.
So nothing coming out of this Oracle yet, but these days you don't have to do very much damage with an Oracle to make it pay off. I don't think this one's paid for itself as of yet, but I mean, it can still do something. Unless he builds a turret in his main base, he's going to have to keep Marines there, so that's something already.
Yep. Revelation, also a very useful scouting tool. You'll sometimes see Protoss players throwing that down on the army so that they can keep tabs on Terran movement. And here we're going to see that Oracle come in for a second pass, and Marines still in position mean that no damage will be dealt. Scan goes down, and we can see that Hack is getting a good look at the main base of Macsed. Sees the building robotics bay.
So now I think he can kind of guess that Colossi Phoenix could be coming at him. It's pretty common with the Stargate and the Robo, and I'm not sure if he saw that Phoenix or not, but if he saw that Phoenix, he should definitely know that the Colossi Phoenix style is coming at him.
That's what it's looking like. Macsed's Phoenix production has begun. He's not chrono boosting them right at the moment, but he is steadily keeping that Stargate active. 1 Phoenix out already. +1 upgrade spinning first Colossus is on the way, so Macsed is taking a page out of Jim's book and committing to that Colossus Phoenix style. We see Hack's going to go ahead and pull those Marines from his main base, and it looks like it's time for that initial push. With a Colossus on the way, I feel like Macsed's surely going to be safe against this.
Yeah, I think he'll be safe against this for sure, but there's not much of a risk of Hack losing these forces.
Yeah, as long as he doesn't do something silly and overextend and get caught by force fields. Even if he does, in that case, you can always execute the old hot pickup, load those Marines up into the medevac, and quickly evacuate. Upon seeing this, I wonder if Macsed will get aggressive once more with the Oracle. Right now, it's just kind of chilling off on the side of the map. Here come those Marines. Photon overcharge is going to get casted immediately. Force fields are going to go down, and a few units do die, but we see that bio lifted up by the medevacs, and it does leave with great haste. No real damage dealt to either side, honestly.
Yeah, and that's a pretty good start for Macsed, I guess. Not too many trades going down from either side, but Macsed's build is a little bit greedier than Jim's build. Jim usually skips the Forge and doesn't get it until a lot later in the game, so that'll give Macsed a bit of an edge. Also, he's just building those Colossi and Phoenixes he needs to. He's set up to defend any drops in the main base with some Phoenixes and Zealots there in position, and he's taking a quick third as well.
Yep, a couple more medevacs are making their way to the main base of Macsed. Now, they did fly right past an observer, so Macsed should be prepared for this. However, looking like he's a little bit out of position. He's going to let everything unload here before he engages with his Phoenixes, Zealots, and that Colossus. Phoenix is great against medevacs, obviously, but the Marines on the ground mean that nothing will end up dying. Oh, at the same time, Hack trying to be aggressive at the third base, but Macsed has done a good job of splitting up his units and is keeping himself nice and safe.
Yeah, and Hack's actually bled off a lot of units here. Not that many at any one point, but it's just a couple Marines here, a couple Marines there, and he's not doing any damage or trading very well at all. And I think that's a little bit reflected in the supply counts right now. Macsed taking a pretty nice lead of about 20 supplies so far in this PvT.
Yep, we can see it on the units lost tab here. 3 Protoss units have died, 18 Terran units for 1,000 resources versus 300. Third command center just now finishing up, or third orbital I should say, just now finishing up for Hack. So he will be on 3 bases soon, and we can see that Macsed has also finished his third nexus as this game continues into the later stages of the mid game. A lot on the line here, Mike. This is a trip to Canada. This is all about making it to the Season 3 finals in Toronto, and that is what, that's the big show, man. That's what everyone wants to win.
Yep, and a lot of prize money on the line just for qualifying for this event. So these players are going to be playing their very best, showing us their best stuff today for sure.
Third orbital is going to go ahead and land for Hack, as we see him planting a single missile turret. Missile turret guy, my favorite unit in the game. He's just kind of hanging out, spinning in circles.
And Macsed is actually doing this a little bit differently than how Jim likes to do it. It looks like he's kind of transitioning away from this heavy Colossi, heavy Phoenix mix that Jim prefers, and teching for this quick blink. With the double forges too, I think we might see him transition a bit quicker. I guess he still is now continuing his production of Phoenix, but I'm not sure if we'll see that Phoenix range that we see Jim get every game.
Yeah, Jim also tends to make an overwhelming number of Phoenixes. Macsed only has 7 right now. I suppose that's certainly enough to get the job done. 7 Phoenixes against 9 Vikings. Stalker count is only now starting to grow again, as the third base of Macsed has just started to actually produce. You really need a lot of gas to produce Colossi, Phoenixes, and have anything left over for things like Stalkers.
Yeah, and Hack looks like he's now moving out with his army. I don't think he's going to try to do a push now, as he just had a few ghosts in production, I believe. He's going to want for at least 1 round of EMPs before he goes for an attack. I'm kind of worried about how this is going to play out, though. His army is incredibly Marine heavy. Only 5 Marauders and 49 Marines. So
wow,
could be pretty tough. If those Colossi start hitting the Marines, his army's going to melt so quickly.
Yep. Force field's also going to be very important here. If Macsed lands good force fields and traps those Marines, they will die even faster. But in spite of that, Hack is going to push forward. Marine, Marauder, Medevac, Viking, and 3 ghosts in the mix for the Startail Terran. I'm not sure how much or how aware Macsed is of this impending push. He's positioned between his natural and the third base, which is just where a Protoss player is going to keep his army on this map, period. There's the hallucinated Phoenix that's going to go out, and this will spot the army of Hack. Oh, and blinking already is Macsed. Oh, we saw EMP going down on the Phoenixes. That's very cool. Drains them of their energy and removes their shields. That's going to make the Vikings more effective. Vikings are right-clicked on the Colossi. They are falling very quickly under Phoenix and Stalker fire. But wow, Hack's got a lot of units, and he looks like he's going to crush through.
These SCVs in the front just soaked up so much damage from this Colossi, and I think that's helping him overwhelm this. There's another Colossi that came out now, but he's going to have to micro for his life. I think he is going to be able to hold this off, though.
Photon overcharge in the natural is helping out a ton. The last, or I guess the new Colossus does fall. Phoenixes will come over and help deal with the last of this bio. Macsed has a single Colossus left on the map. You know, Hack did some okay damage there. He definitely killed a lot of very expensive Protoss units. And if you look at resources lost, well, it's still Terran, who's behind, has not been quite as cost effective as Macsed has been. You know, Mike, I kind of like that exchange. I like the fact that he was able to reset the Colossus count.
Well, the problem is that he lost a lot of SCVs, though, and his economy is now kind of on about a 1-base economy, I think. He only has 10 workers at his third, and only 3 to 4 at his main and natural. And that's not the best economic position against a Protoss player in this stage.
Obviously not. 61 probes to 25 SCVs. Macsed is clearly far ahead economically. Still, we see some aggression in the main base trying to get a couple of probe kills, but it's just not going to happen, man. Macsed has done so well when it comes to splitting up his units and making sure that he's able to defend multiple fronts. And Macsed might actually be getting aggressive here. Did you think Hack made a mistake pulling SCVs with that push?
It could have been a mistake. With the SCV pull, you kind of have to win, or you're a lot behind, and I think that's the situation we see here. I think part of the problem was maybe those EMPs. He landed them on the Phoenixes, but the Phoenixes aren't going to be using any of their energy until after the fight, and he's not targeting the Phoenixes with his Vikings anyway, so taking away the shields doesn't matter. Maybe if he could have EMP'd the Colossi instead, taken those out a little faster, the fight would have gone better for him.
I would have certainly made those Colossi fall faster. Macsed taking a 4th base now, still doesn't want to get aggressive. He's got 140 supply against 90, so a big supply lead for a Protoss player. 20 of that is in workers alone. 58 probes to 33 SCVs. Hack is trying to recover his economy. You can see that Hack is also damn near mined out in his main base.
And his upgrades are about to favor Macsed by a lot. His 3-3 is almost completed, and Hack's only at 2-1 right now with no upgrades on the way. And with that advantage, I think Hack's going to have an incredibly tough time, especially considering his economy and his army compared to Macsed's.
+3 Zealots just shred Marines, and obviously things like you know, the Colossi are going to be much more resilient with the good upgrades, much more resilient and dealing much more damage. Charge also about to finish up for Macsed. That's going to give him one more edge in the next engagement. 176 supply to 120. What does Hack need to be doing right here, Mike, if he wants to bounce back?
Well, it's a tough call. Maybe he should go for some medevac drops and try to do something to stall. If Macsed attacks him right now, I don't think there's any chance that Hack can defend. Macsed army is just so strong, but it's difficult to play a macro game from this position too. Macsed secured his 4th base, and there's no 4th command center even in sight from Hack yet.
Mike, it's a race. Widow Mine versus Photon Cannon. Which is going to come out first?
I think the Widow Mine will, but I'm not sure how much damage it can do. The probe kills would definitely help him. Oh, these phoenixes might just lift it as soon as it comes out.
Oh, man. That was unfortunate. It's a very dead Widow Mine there.
And Macsed moving across the map now. I think he might just decide to push into Jim.
Pushing into Jim.
Into Hack.
That would be impressive. Jim's nowhere near Belshire Vestige right now. Macsed is going to go ahead and make that push, though, and Hack pulling SCVs to cope with it. There are a few ghosts in the mix. EMP will be critical with these Archons out on the map, but this is going to be such a hard defense for Terran to make. Stalkers will blink forward and pick off a Viking or two before the fighting even starts, and now the Colossi are going to start to rain down. Time Warp is cast, and it's very effective, catching a lot of these Marines, and man, this is not even close. Macsed will crush right through Hack. And GG gets called. Game number 1 going to the Invictus Gaming Protoss player in pretty good, pretty convincing fashion. Hack made the big scary push with the SCV pull, and it just didn't work.
Yeah, it didn't work at all. I think part of the problem was in that the Ghost again. His EMPs didn't land on the units he wanted them to. I think it might have been a small mistake EMPing the Phoenix in that situation. And then it's just kind of hard to attack up into that choke, I feel like.
Yeah, it was perhaps ill-fated.